Fortnite might change gaming in 2024. And to explain why, I'm going to compare them to one of the biggest companies in the world, Amazon. It's easy to look at them as the company that's owned by the real-life Lex Luthor, but it's important to remember that Amazon started out as just an online bookstore. Now with plenty of different companies under their umbrella like Twitch, Whole Foods, Amazon Web Services, and Ring to name a few. By dominating the e-commerce space and then expanding to different markets and industries, Amazon was able to secure themselves at the top of the totem pole. On the surface, this might seem like a weird comparison, but Fortnite seems to be taking a similar approach. But allow me to explain. Let's take a look at some of the more recent updates to the game and why Epic Games is really setting up Fortnite to dominate the gaming space, or in other words, become the Amazon of gaming. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, be sure to like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos. Alright, let's get back to the video. Let's take a look at the facts. 2024 marks 7 years since the release of Fortnite, and more specifically the Battle Royale mode. Oh god, I feel old. Releasing in 2017, the game took over pop culture just a year later. Everyone was playing Fortnite, and I mean everyone. If you weren't seeing memes about it or watching Ninja stream with Drake, then you were seeing people you worked with or people you went to school with posting their wins on their story. The free-to-play model and child-friendly visuals made it very accessible to anyone who wanted to see what it was about. And I actually remember at the time I was on internship that year, and I even remember seeing people play on their phones while sitting in their cubes. Kids, parents, grandparents, everyone was on Fortnite back then. But as with most trends, people slowly start to lose interest. Now, don't get me wrong, the game was still very popular in the following years after its peak in 2018, but the numbers were definitely starting to dwindle. With fans getting bored of the game, how does Epic Games try to bump up those numbers again? Simple. They collabed with other popular and at times more relevant IPs. Around the time the game's popularity started to dip, the MCU was actually at its peak. To this day, Marvel hasn't really seen the level of success they saw in the late 2010s. And with dollar signs in their eyes, Epic Games introduced a collab with Marvel, which brought to the game a bunch of new skins from a lot of our favorite characters, as well as a new game mode where players could actually use the Infinity Gauntlet. Overall, the event was a success, and Epic Games would go on to routinely add new skins to the game from beloved shows, movies, and even other video games. But they weren't done there. In 2019, it was announced that the popular DJ Marshmello would be hosting a virtual event where he'd be performing for all the players in attendance. Players would also be able to purchase event-related in-game items as well. At the time, this was also a huge hit, as the game had reached a new record for peak concurrent players during the event, and proceeded to hit another record a few weekends later, where they saw the most concurrent players on a non-event day. With results like that, the next obvious move would be to rinse and repeat, and so they did. In the years to come, artists like Travis Scott, Deadmau5, Ariana Grande, even Eminem would also go on to make appearances in their game for their virtual concerts. Strangely enough, to this day, Fortnite is still one of the only video games that has hosted a virtual concert in this capacity. But as time went on, even that lost its appeal. Although the game was still seeing millions of players log in, it was nowhere near the peak of what they had reached in previous years. So how do you bring back all those fans you once had? The players who helped contribute to the success of the franchise and who at one point or another got bored and stopped playing. On Friday, November 3rd, 2023, Epic Games brought back the OG map from 2018. When it was first announced, there was a ton of hype around this, and I think that's partly because the timing of it was almost perfect. Keep in mind that this was around the time that a lot of people were getting fed up with Warzone, and Call of Duty as a whole, since Activision had given a middle finger to all their fans by releasing one of the laziest games I've ever seen. Nostalgia is almost a cheat code when it comes to gaining popularity and hype. A lot of people feel like it's a cheap tactic, which is why you see a lot of companies kind of half-ass it, and in turn are actually unable to properly capitalize off of it. Yeah, I'm still looking at you, Call of Duty. But unlike a lot of other games, Fortnite actually pulled it off, amassing almost 45 million players in a single day and making it the most successful singular day the game has ever seen. The hype was real, and this was apparent when looking at how the conversation dominated social media. I'll admit, I was even a bit excited when I first saw the announcement, and I personally know people who don't even game anymore, and even they decided that they'd be picking up the controller again for the return of the OG map. And on a quick side note, I mentioned Call of Duty earlier for a particular reason. There's been several reports that Activision is going to be taking the nostalgia approach as well, even more than they already have, by bringing back Verdansk in 2024. Will it work out for them as well as it did for Fortnite? Let me know in the comments below. Now with this huge influx of players, Epic Games knew that they'd have to keep the momentum going, and the approach they took, well, let's just say a lot of people didn't see it coming. In what were seemingly random additions to the game, Epic Games announced that 3 new modes would be coming to Fortnite. A game more commonly known for their immensely popular Battle Royale would now also house a rocket racing mode that leveraged off of Rocket League, a festival mode that was a throwback to the old Rock Band and Guitar Hero days, and a LEGO mode, which while still in the early stages is looking to many like a competitor to Minecraft. To word it differently, Epic Games essentially added 3 new games to Fortnite. And here's the important part, they each came with their own microtransactions. Are you starting to see the parallels to Amazon like I mentioned earlier? By having all this variety, they're working to keep players on Fortnite for as long as possible, while also profiting off the same customer multiple times. And keep in mind that Fortnite is a free-to-play game, meaning that they've potentially made their already easily accessible game even more appealing to a wider variety of players and potential customers. Bored of Battle Royale? Why not play Poker Face with your friends? Or how about a free-to-play racing game that also has crossplay? Epic Games is taking the jack-of-all-trades approach here. Their racing game doesn't really stack up against other games in the genre, but the barrier to entry is so low that as long as the game is good enough, people will flock to it. Now for the million, or should I say $billion question, will this move pay off? Only time will tell. But if the past is any indication, Fortnite's unorthodox decisions seem to pay off for them. The game continues to break records, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2024. But I'd like to hear what you guys think. Did the return of the OG map bring any of you back to Fortnite? And if so, have you tried out any of the new Fortnite modes? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you're new here, I'd really appreciate it if you could go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe for more videos like this. With that being said, thanks for watching and stay winning.